What's up, guys? Node Investor here. I thought I'd give you guys a quick update. These markets have been pretty shaky here recently, last couple days. People are wondering, is Ethereum going to crash? Are we headed lower? Is Bitcoin done? What's going on with SegWit? Litecoin holding up nicely? What is going on in these markets? So I'm going to show a couple of charts here, Bitcoin, Ethereum, point out a couple of areas of strength that I'm seeing, but let's take a quick look at the markets. So Bitcoin 2652 down 5% today, kind of back and forth. We'll see that here shortly. Ethereum was the story. So yesterday I noticed I was trying to make a deposit into one of the exchanges and my Ethereum wasn't going through and it didn't show up, and an hour later I'm thinking, well, that's odd, that usually doesn't happen. And then I start reading about Jax not exchanging on Shapeshift, and Shapeshift taking down certain Ethereum tokens, and lo and behold, the market's clogged because of the ICO, and Ethereum essentially was frozen. There was different exchanges that had comments on the wallet saying the wallet's temporarily offline, no deposits, no sales, and it was just a little chaotic. There was a little bit of panic that set in, so it was not surprising to see the selling today. Once things opened up, a lot of sellers showed up. It brought Ethereum down. So we'll look at the charts, but definitely a little bit of concern there. And just the Ethereum blockchain was pretty clogged. So Ethereum currently at 310, down about 9-10% today. Dash sitting at around 180. Litecoins holding up nicely. Monero 48, Ripple 27 cents, Ethereum Classic 71, Pivx $1.82. Pivx has been holding up pretty nicely here actually. Zcash $363, Factom down almost 12%, $31. Nem just shy of 19 cents, and Lumens 3.7 cents. So let's go take a look at the charts. So here's Bitcoin. Now, remember I mentioned a couple days ago on a video, when things get this shaky, it's always good to just take a step back and broaden out the view a little bit. So here's a daily chart, right? So if you look at the 2-hour, the 4-hour chart, you know, it's a little chaotic. We're down, we're up, we're down, we're up. Not a lot of reference points at this point. 4 hours a little bit better. You know, you can see this little almost inverted head and shoulders that Bitcoin was putting together here. But if you go back to the daily charts, you start to see the moving averages. You get a little bit broader perspective on where we're at. So we had the big shakedown last week, and you can see where it held right here. Pretty big shakedown. Now, the moving average is right here, the longer term 30 period EMA, and that's where it's been closing above. That's a good sign. Now here recently, Bitcoin is above even the shorter term. So Bitcoin's actually holding up right now. It's still not clearing the old highs, so we have to keep an eye on that. If you look at the trend, what you don't want to see this lower step starting here, right? You don't want to see big drop, then an up, hitting a trend, and then another big drop that undercuts this, and then a bounce, because at that point, you're going to start to see a trend reversal. We haven't seen that yet. One thing on here is the volume hasn't been too crazy on the downside, so that's a positive. So right now, Bitcoin is holding the longer term moving averages. One to keep an eye on for sure. At this point, I'm not too worried. There's a lot of positive news coming around with SegWit and some of that activation. But with all things Bitcoin, I'll believe it when I see it, right? There's just a very news-driven environment, a lot of competing agendas with regard on the direction of this thing. So just hold tight. You know, these are volatile. We already know that. I've read some stories about people who were trading on margin and got caught in this glitch and shakedown. And guys, with this kind of volatility, I would not be trading on margin or borrowed money. That's something I've repeated in the past. So Bitcoin so far, what you want to see is these moving averages hold. If these moving averages start to break and we close below them for a little bit more than a day or two, it's not going to be good news for Bitcoin. So far, that hasn't happened. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, here's Coinbase, and here's the flash crash that they were talking about. Now, I have a little bit of problem with the flash crash here. See, I get it. The chart says we came down all the way to $13 or something, But look at the volume. This was a liquidity driven event. GDAX went down, Coinbase went down, and you were just not able to trade. And there was, I'm sure, a few Ethereum exchanged at this very extreme low price, but this was not a full trading event, not a full trading day. This was a blip, a couple of 5-minute blips. And essentially what this did is this took out a lot of people's stops and fail safes, and sales got executed. So, okay, it was a flash crash, but all intents and purposes, Ethereum did not trade at $13 for any length of time to be a material impact. Has no bearing when you do technical analysis. You kind of just ignore these kind of anomalies. If you go to other exchanges, right, you don't see that. If you go to Poloniex, you don't see that. And that happens from time to time. It happens with most exchanges. You'll see these weird bars where there was just a trade that happened on an extreme, and it just kind of messes up the charts a little bit. You just have to factor those out. So that being said, on the daily chart, Ethereum is just breaking the shorter term moving average. So it's been super strong in riding this moving average, this short term moving average all the way up. We're finally breaking that on a daily basis. Now Ethereum can come all the way down to this 270, 280 level and be just fine if it holds there, because it's going to bounce off of this longer term trend. That being said, if that happens, the concerning part is now we're beginning this series of drops with lower highs and potentially lower lows. So you can see this little line I drew here, this area of resistance. If it starts to bounce here, we'll want to pay attention to this line and see if it hits this trend or if it continues higher beyond that. That's going to be the key, is can we break above this line that's starting to form, and where will it hold? You want to see Ethereum hold this longer term moving average. Now we're in the summer. Things have been really hot for these last couple of months. On the springtime, this last few months have been a big run in cryptocurrencies. So it would not be unusual to just kind of see this sideways flop trading action for the next couple of months, kind of heading into August. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. So just hold tight, guys. Keep an eye on these levels. On the RSI level, we are heading down a little bit. We could go as low as 40-ish and bounce from there and be just fine. So not too worried. Obviously, if you bought Ethereum in the high 300 range and you're watching it drop all the way down to 250, certainly concerning. If you've been in this since the early breakouts at 50 and 95, probably not a whole lot to worry about, but it's up to you guys, right? If you want to take profits, if you want to move into some other coins, by all means, you guys got to decide on what you're going to do there. Ethereum has been a core holding in my portfolio for a long time, but I will admit recently I've been moving out of it a little bit into Litecoin, into some other things I'm seeing, and certainly a much smaller portion of my portfolio than it has been in recent months. I still got a little bit though, so just letting you guys know where I'm at with Ethereum. Let's take a look at Litecoin. So Litecoin, I posted a video a couple days back with this beautiful breakout that Litecoin had after this nice base. Look at the moving averages held, and then just volume came in, massive volume. It's pulling in a little bit here, but there's nothing to be concerned about. The pullback has been very constructive, low volume, very contained as of now. I could see it pull back to this $40 range and be okay. It might just sit tight here, so not a whole lot to worry about Litecoin. I know when you see a coin market cap and you're looking at the percents and you're looking at, oh, okay, Litecoin's down, 10, 15% in the last couple days. It looks concerning, but when you step back and start looking at the charts, you get a better perspective. You can see the breakout point here. You can see the moving averages. So far, not even close. It just went so high so quickly. It needs to pause a little bit, and we'll see if it resumes the uptrend. I'm still a believer that we're going to see Litecoin over $50 and possibly higher than that. If you get the newsletter, I pointed Litecoin out, and so far so good on Litecoin. So if you're holding Litecoin, probably nothing to worry about here. Just hold tight. Some other areas of strength. So let's go to coin market cap. So coin market cap here, you can see Bitcoin now 43.7 billion, Ethereum down to 30. So that gap has really widened recently. Ripple, I pointed out also here this week is an item to watch. Let's go look at that. Ripple looked like it really wanted to move out here, and it really did, and since pulled back with this recent selling we're seeing. So let's look at Ripple and the dollar first. So if you look at Ripple, this is the daily chart again, and we had this initial pop early June, and then it started to pull back a little bit, built this nice little trend. I covered it in the newsletter right here saying it's imminent. The moving averages are really tightening up. So let's see what Ripple does here in the next couple of days. And sure enough, it really popped and then it just kind of sold off. We've seen that before. We saw this big pop here and just kind of selling off. Nothing too concerning if you're holding Ripple right now or if you bought on that little pop. Keep an eye on just kind of this lower trend that's forming right here. You don't want to see that break. If it does, certainly the moving averages are a key area of supports, then it's not ready yet at this point. But if you bought on this little pop, I'd hold on for now. Just this whole 25, 26 cent area is looking like the next level of support. We're just right there. Volume again has been pretty constructive, a little low on the downside here, so nothing too concerning. Let's zoom in a little bit, look at the 4 hours. So there you go. You can see the big volume breakouts on the upside, and then on the downside, not a whole lot. They had this shakeout. You can see the long tail there, but that's big volume. That's support coming in. So we're right there. You don't want to see Ripple fall much more below this. So keep an eye on it here. I'd like to see Ripple bounce right off of this trend line that it's starting to form here and start heading up again. Certainly on the daily charts, it looks pretty good so far, but we're at a little bit of a juncture with Ripple here. Couple of more that we want to look at. Let's go back to coin market cap here. We covered Litecoin, Ethereum Classic sitting tight surprisingly with the big selling in Ethereum. It tried to edge out earlier this week, was about $22, $23. Just couldn't clear that $23 mark that I've been watching and bouncing around there. So keep an eye on this one though. It's still looking pretty good. NEM not wanting to move yet. Dash okay right now. IOTA, I'm not going to really cover that one. Stratis, I've really been watching Stratis. It keeps looking like it wants to put a bottom in here. So let's go look at Stratis. Just not ready yet, but it's keeps wanting to do it here. So another thing to watch on Stratis here is we've building this little short-term descending triangle. Not usually what I like to see. I like to see the ascending triangles. Those are much stronger when they break out. But one thing to keep on Stratis here is look at where the moving average is again, just like the other one. So it's pointing here. Stratis is really signaling that a move is imminent. The question is, which way is that going to go? Are we going to bust out of this triangle and head north, or are we going to break down below these moving averages and have another leg down? So Stratis could go either way right now. This is a little bit of a descending triangle, somewhat symmetrical, so not too bad if you extend it out to this breakouts. It looks like it's going to move one way or the other here. If you're a believer in Stratis and you like the platform, you like the idea, this might not be a bad idea to keep a real close eye on it here. And if it starts to edge out, especially if volume shows up, we may see another leg up on Stratis. Long term, I really like Stratis. I like the platform. I like the project, what they're doing. So I'm watching this one really close right here. This one may bust out here soon. That's going to be it for tonight, guys. There's a lot of movement right now, a lot of red on the board, but a day or two ago there was a lot of green, and so we're just kind of back and forth right now. Some other areas to point out, keep an eye on Siacoin. That one's looking pretty good. I'm liking a lot of these platform and cloud computing, distributed software or distributed storage. Golem's pretty good. Ant shares, watching Ant shares. That one's really been climbing here. What else is, Lisk looked like it was setting up, not ready to go yet, but keeping an eye on that one. So Decred's pretty strong today here too. So a lot of movement right now, guys. We all got spoiled with this recent run up, and it seemed like every day was just up, 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 and the occasional down day, and then up, 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 and now we're basing out a little bit, going sideways, flopping and chopping a little here, but nothing too concerning yet, guys. Like I said, zoom out a little bit, look at the daily charts. So far, so good. If that changes, I'll let you guys know. Keep you guys posted. Until next time, take care.